up, you guys? It's your girl Stacie with the Stacie Bell Show. Today I have my two guests with me, Trish and Sean.
Hi.
You already know. So you guys, if you're already subscribed to my channel, welcome back. For those of you who are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button right below so you can get that bell notification to know whenever I post up new content and new episodes. So, are you guys ready for today's episode? Are you guys ready?
Definitely.
Audience, are you ready?
Definitely.
Yeah? Alright. So today we're talking about, is he or she the one? The one? Looking at me. Watch me. Are you the one? Is he or she the one? That's what we want to know.
What is he doing?
I don't know. 5'3", I don't know.
I was doing the Kobe. You've never seen it?
R.I.P. Kobe.
I don't watch mine.
Alright, so. Sean, this question goes out to you. Put you in the hot seat, I know. How did you know that Trish was the one?
Because she used to annoy me all the time with everything she did. So,
Why you lying?
I was lying. Okay. So, the way how I knew she was the one is I basically put her first with everything that I wanted to do. Everything that I was doing, it was like, okay, what about her? What is she gonna say? Is she gonna like it? I'm like, what's going on here?
Turn soft.
Like, what do I always want to include her in everything? I'm always thinking about her feelings, whatever. I'm like, wow, it's different.
Okay.
You know, it's different. When you put them above yourself, then that's when you know. For me.
Okay. And Trish, how did you know that Sean was the one for you?
I knew that he was the one for me. He's actually mad at me right now. Before we started this episode, it was like 3, 2, action. Okay. I knew that he was the one when I realized that he embodied a lot of the things that I wanted in a man. You know, like thinking back on all my exes, like he had everything good. You know, like he was all in one. He was like, this is the perfect guy, you know, for me.
Okay, nice. So, this question goes out to both of you guys to answer. Have you ever dated someone and thought that they were the one, but they weren't the one?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you never dated someone before her that you thought was the one, but it didn't work out that way?
Okay, so.
Yeah, you did.
No, because
yeah, you did.
I'm telling you no, and I'm not gonna lie for the audience. Listen, how it goes is when you're younger, you normally think all your relationships are gonna last forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me being younger, I'm always gonna be thinking, hey, this my relationship gonna last, forever.
Yeah.
When I grew a little bit, I'm like, that was no. That's all I'm gonna say.
No. You're kind of saying that when you grew up.
No, when I grew a little bit. Like, okay, let's say stages in my life. I have a relationship. Let's say it didn't work out or whatever. That same year, I'm growing. You understand? And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I really didn't have anything in common with this person as much as I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a relationship based on a like, I would say.
Yeah.
And it was me just going through the motions. Like, I didn't really have, well, sorry for anyone who's watching who's my ex. I didn't really have love for them like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of love is much different now than it was back then when I was a kid. So, it wasn't love back then. It was a deep like, I would say, and now I understand what love truly is, and it's two different things altogether. So.
Okay.
Well, for girls, it's very different. We think we're gonna marry everybody that we're with.
Yeah, seriously.
Thinking
we
that
have
was the
cute
case
kids
for
too.
me, you know, like So I think everybody I was with at one point, I was like, yeah, they could be the one.
Okay.
To bring in a little fun fact, like
He's like, oh gosh.
I actually didn't think that I was gonna marry him. So it's funny to me. And I was actually saying this to my brother the other day. I was like, the person that you think you're gonna marry, you don't always end up marrying. So
Yeah.
But I'm glad I married you though.
So that gets me to my next question. Like, did you ever ask God for signs if he was the one for you?
Yes.
Do you want to give a little backstory about that? If he was the one for you when you asked him for a sign?
I remember. Well, for me, I don't know if I told you this story. I remember when, he had asked me to marry him, and then I was like, okay. When we went to go get the marriage certificate, I was like, God, if I'm not supposed to be with this man, let something go wrong and we can't get the marriage certificate, So we were able to, and that was cool.
Okay. Did you ask God for a sign when it came to knowing if she was the one? Did you pray about it? You pray on it to God?
I prayed about it, but not for him to show me a sign, because I already knew.
Okay.
You know,
So what'd you pray for?
for you to
say yes. Please let her say yes, God.
No, I prayed for a lifetime of love. Understand? So, some people, the divorce rate is always up there in America for some reason. So let me speak louder. You know how the divorce rate is always up there for some reason. I prayed that our relationship can last longer and is not just a statistic, because I want to be different. So I prayed that our relationship can last longer. So even I know when we get married or whenever that we did, I knew that it'll last forever regardless. So.
Okay. Cool.
Why
So
I'm always finding things out about you on the Stacie Bell Show.
I don't know, you never asked me.
No,
hey, the
I
Stacie
be
Bell
asking
Show is
him.
where
I
you
be
get all the
asking him.
juice.
I ask him, I'm like, tell me how you feel. He don't tell me how he feels.
Well, it's better. He's professing your love on national TV because we international over here. Stacie Bell Show, okay? Quincy, if you're watching.
Tell them what countries you in.
Everywhere. We worldwide, okay? It's international.
Technically, that's true.
We are international.
Oh, shoot. I didn't think about that.
We out here, okay?
I have my blonde moments sometimes.
So, what is the best advice you guys can give to people who are single, who are looking for the one? To all my single people, because I know y'all are looking for the one. Some of my fans requested we talk about this, so we're talking about it. Is he or she the one?
What I would say is the first rule is try not to force a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just let it flow naturally.
Let it flow. Once you start to force things, that's when things start to go wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you try to fit a square into a circle, and then that's when things don't work at all. You have to take your time and shave off the edges from the square to form it into the circle so it can fit. If you understand what I'm saying.
Of course.
Relationships take time to build, and you're not going to know that person is the one from the get-go.
Yeah.
But there are signs that you can look out for and pay attention to. And once you see these signs, you can either go two ways. Do I want to stay, help fix these things that I'm not happy with? Or should I go? Should I stay or should I go? So, I have issues, and
Yeah, you do.
marriage, you always still have to work on it regardless. So I'm still working on mine, and I will continue to work on them forever.
Okay. And do you have any advice you want to give to the single people out there who are looking for the one?
Well, he kind of
Said it all?
No, not really. I want to say be yourself
Yeah.
in the relationship, and also be with someone who wants to see you excel, like who brings out the best in you, and who likes you when you wake up in the morning and not when you have makeup on.
That's key. That's
like,
key. Let me see that morning face.
Yep.
Like somebody who can call you beautiful when you know you don't look beautiful.
When you got your bonnet on,
yeah,
everything,
like, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I must, like, fellas, we need disclaimers nowadays. We need to see the morning face, period. On Instagram, you're always dolled up. No, not anymore.
Did you see the meme? They're like, our first date we're going swimming because I need to know what you really look like.
You need to see the morning face. It's imperative.
Okay.
And I want to say, have a checklist, Cause
don't lower your standards.
Sometimes, like, you can be blinded by love. So I know when it came to when we were buying our house, like, we had a checklist, and sometimes your eyes don't see what's on paper. You can walk into a house and then you're like, oh, this is a house. But then you start going through the checklist. You're like, well, it doesn't check off this. Like, we literally had papers with checklists, and every house had a grade. And let's just say, a long story short, the houses that we liked ended up having like a 60% score, where the house that we didn't think we liked ended up checking off all the boxes. Well, the analogy can also be applied to relationships. Like, if you're looking for a man who is God-fearing, who is tall, who is handsome, who loves your family, who, you know, your own checklist, to each his own.
Who's
Like,
chocolate?
yeah, like, make sure they meet all that checklist and come as close to 100% as possible. Like my sister said, like Stacie said, don't sell yourself short, and don't look behind. Don't make excuses for him. Well, I can't check off this list. Well, that's because no, don't play yourself.
Also, I do want to say this with this checklist: you have to be reasonable, and you can't be putting on all these.
I don't like that word reasonable.
Reasonable.
I don't like that word.
Like, why do I have to lower it?
Because then, no, I'm not saying lower your standards.
Listen. I believe
Let
that.
me talk.
No. You interrupted me, actually. Listen, I believe that there's a perfect person.
I
for
believe
everyone.
if you want to stay
You understand?
single, go ahead.
I wasn't single.
I'm not saying
Not single.
that, but some people like to have the expectations way up here when they themselves.
But I
are
just
not
don't
even
like
a
the
finished
word
product.
reasonable.
Where if, like, let's say girls want to have, a man must have
Financial stability.
these cars, house, blah
No,
blah
I'm
blah.
not. I'm not
we're not talking
saying
about
no
that.
Ferrari and
That is
everything
the
like
list,
that.
though. That women like to put some of these things on their list and say they're not gonna date you unless you have these things.
No, I personally, I don't care
You
what
understand what
car
I'm
you
saying?
drive or anything like
Now,
that.
if you have all these things on your list, you haven't met any of your goals, but you want to hold the guy to a high standard, but you're not holding yourself to that standard too. That's a double-edged sword. You can't be saying that. So what I'm saying is,
I don't know what kind of women you're talking about.
no, you have to be reasonable once you're setting your standards. You have to be reasonable because.
So reasonable is Ford instead of a Range Rover, or a Range Rover instead of a Ferrari. Is that what you mean by reasonable?
Reasonable is set the same expectations that you have met for yourself for somebody else.
Okay, that's fair, but
He's basically saying she needs to be on the same
Yeah,
level
but that's
as
not
him to
reasonable.
match it.
that's not being reasonable.
No. What I'm saying, okay, so let's break it down.
So can I ask for a man who drives a Range Rover?
You can ask.
Is that
for one.
reasonable?
You can ask for any man that you want.
But I have to make sure I'm driving also a Range Rover or better.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, that's
Like,
fair. I agree with you on that. It's just I was a little sketchy about the word reasonable that you were using.
Yeah.
But
Because it kind of made it seem like I gotta
Let me
like,
lower it.
you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't get
What-
my Christmas gift from Santa.
No, no,
Exactly.
what-
Kind of like it's too good to be true. You can't
Right.
get
What
what
I'm
you
saying
want.
is, if you live in a what you call, oh my gosh, a single bedroom apartment, a studio, but you want a man that have a 5-bedroom crib, 3 cars, you want him to be
Nah,
making
I don't think
$1,000.
girls think like that
Yeah.
now.
Excuse me?
I don't think like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
'cause-
speak for
Listen,
myself.
you know
A
what? You're
lot of
looking
women
at the
that think
reality
like that.
shows on TV.
Yeah.
Like we're
No.
talking
It's
real
not
life.
like that. Yeah,
you know?
we're more so. Is he gonna be loyal? Does he believe in
Yeah,
God? Is he
like-
gonna find me beautiful through my worst, through my bad? Like things like that. Is he family oriented? Like does he respect his mom? Like I look at things like that.
Yeah, this is for you. But I'm saying there are women out there who look at material things rather than
Okay,
the
that's true.
Well
personality.
then that's them.
And that is just facts. It's just facts. Some women don't want to work.
Okay.
I know he's getting so adamant about it.
It's just facts. You see how they try to turn the script on me? It's just facts. But what I'm saying is you just have to be reasonable and always remember a person has potential. So whatever you think that's not there, it's not to say that that's the end of the day, because that person can develop into what you want it to be. Now, if you see red flags in the beginning and those red flags cannot be removed, then by all means walk away. But if the light is yellow, it can go either way.
Okay.
Always remember that. And it's up to you to steer that car when it's the green light. I mean, I keep using these analogies.
I know. I was just gonna say.
Right? Where you get these
I
analogies
don't know. It's
from?
out of my head.
Trying to find you.
I know, right? Antigua Medical School. So, last question is, what are signs that a male or female can show that can factor them into being the one?
Loyalty.
He said, how about you at the same time?
Signs that they show that I
Yeah.
know that makes them the one.
Yeah, like what's some signs a potential person can show that they're potentially the one?
I think for him it was like he was always looking at the future. Like
he was thinking ahead, like
Yeah,
instead of just living in the moment.
one of the things that I do admire about him, and I can't say the same thing about myself, is that say we're having a fight, he understands that the fight is only temporary. It's not going to affect tomorrow. And the thing too is that when we fight, he still loves me. He fights fair. He fights with love, and I think that's one thing that I do admire about him.
Yeah.
So I think to me that was worth sticking around for.
Okay.
I try to run, but he just won't let me.
You're like, no, girl, you better come back here. Got you on the stick.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is how involved this person is with their family.
Family oriented.
Because my family's huge. Your family's big too. And it's important for, like, if I'm trying to start a family, I want our families to be able to come together. And family is just one of my biggest traits that I love to have together. Family is very important for me.
Yeah.
And
Family
that's
over
a
everything.
trait that, exactly, and that's a trait that you exemplified and, showed me. So I ticked it right off my box.
Yeah. Single ladies out there, like, you might not think it, but it is true. Like, the guy might not tell you, but he will grade you on whether or not you're wifey material on how you treat your family. Because in essence, he's thinking that this is how you're going to treat my children, you know what I mean? Or my mother.
Or my mom, that's a no-no, man.
So,
that's a no-no.
Yeah. So you could think, oh, I'm just being mean to my brother, but,
Yeah.
he's watching how you're treating your brother.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, let's wrap up. No shade over here. So, anyways, thank you guys. You tell, literally. So, definitely, you guys, thank you, for coming on the show and giving your insight on is he or she the one. All my single people out there, don't sell yourself short. Make that checklist and, don't budge for anything. If you have that certain checklist, make sure he or she meets that checklist.
Reasonable.
Anyways, but yeah, just, don't sell yourself short, like I said. And yeah, comment your thoughts, what you think, things like that. And
I know the fellas are on my side. They must be reasonable, and you can't be having your list like this, and then you have only achieved this. Like, you have to, give what you want to receive.
He's really passionate about this
He
subject.
really
He was
is.
like talking more than the girls.
Because I don't like that. I don't
Did somebody expect something
Yeah, who
from
hurt you or something?
I know. She sounds hurt.
Hurt.
Are you hurt?
Are you hurt?
I don't get hurt.
Okay. So, anyways, thank you guys for being on my show today. And don't forget to subscribe once again so you can get those notifications when I post new content. And always remember to love yourself, accept yourself, and live authentically. And that's the Stacie Bell Show. Bye.